Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how I choose winning Framer template ideas because really the idea stage can either make or break your template. A bad idea obviously won't even get accepted on a marketplace, and a great idea might end up generating you thousands of dollars over the next few months or years. So I'm basically going to break down my full process. I'm going to give you everything I do to make sure my idea is good before I start working on a template, and we're going to get straight into it. But right before that, I just want to show you some proof that you can actually trust me. This is my Framer creator dashboard. I have 25 templates live on the marketplace currently. And in the last 30 days, I've made around 6.5K from affiliates and from direct template sales. Now, over the summer, my direct template sales did get a big hit. It's kind of like almost 50% down from what it used to be back in May. So it might be from the summer season. It might be because there's more competition currently on the marketplace, but my affiliate income has been steadily growing, and I am gonna tell you why is that in just a little. So why some ideas win versus why others fail. Now, winning ideas tend to solve a paid, repeatable job in a niche with momentum. Now, this might sound just like some gibberish, but I'm gonna explain what I mean by this. So, solving a paid, repeatable job basically means that your template has to solve a real problem for an audience that actually needs a solution for that problem. And a niche with momentum means a niche that not only is growing, but also a niche where the founder is likely to try and build their website on their own, because people with, let's say, bigger companies, they won't try to build it with a template. They'll most likely hire an agency to do that for them. I do have a list of profitable free and paid template niches in my free school group. So if you're interested, you can join and check them out there. But basically, that's the main thing, solving a real problem. And another thing, what I mean by that is basically your template has to have everything that your target audience needs. If you're building an agency template, you're going to need case study sections, a case study page. You're going to need a way for them to have a calendar where people can book a call with them, and more sections that are specific for agencies. But if you're building a SaaS template, you're going to need like a very good pricing section, features page, and so on and so forth. The next step is to actually research the competition. Once you have a niche in mind, just go to the Framer marketplace and search for templates in that same niche. See how they look like, because how they look like really determines how much of a high quality design you will need to have if you want to compete with them, especially if your template is paid. You will also see what kinds of pages they have, what kinds of sections they have, and you might notice some gaps in the market for some sub niche, or maybe most of the templates don't have something that is essential for your target audience that you can include in your template. So researching is a crucial part. And yeah, the first part of this step is analyzing the competition on Framer, but also research includes looking for inspiration for the design of your template, because as we're going to see in a little, the design is literally the most important step. That's what most beginners struggle with, and that's the most common rejection reason that I see beginners face. But we're going to tackle that in a little, or maybe in a whole nother video. I'm going to see what I'll do. Now, next topic we're going to talk about is free versus paid niches. And again, I have a full list in my school group that goes over both, but free templates do good in niches that are already very popular, because competing in the popular niches with a paid template is very hard because the competition is very high. But if your template is free, it's going to get used a lot either way, because it's a popular niche and people are simply going to try it out. And if somebody likes what they can build with your free template, they're going to get a Framer subscription, and you're going to get 50% of that subscription for the first year that they stay with Framer. Paid niches, on the other hand, I would recommend going for more specific niches, something that is a bit more unique. Maybe if you're building a template for your agency niche, you can make it specifically for video editing agencies, or specifically for AI automation agencies, and so on and so forth. Just kind of extending the niche and making it even more targeted will help you compete better in that category. The next thing that we're going to talk about is competitive design, because especially if your template is paid, you really need to be able to have a really good design that stands its ground when you compare it to other templates. Because imagine this, somebody goes on the Framer marketplace, they're looking for a SaaS template, they see yours, your design is okay, it looks good, but then they go back to the marketplace, they find another template that absolutely blows them away. Which template are they gonna go for? I think it's pretty much obvious. But another important thing here is that you mustn't make your design too complicated, because if it looks too hard to customize, then obviously the client will think that they won't be able to do it and they won't buy your template. So moving on, picking the right niche. We already kind of talked about this. We need to research the competition. We need to look for gaps in the marketplace. For example, if you notice that there aren't many email marketing agency templates, then you might want to build a template like that. We already talked about free and paid niches and competitive design, so I've kind of repeated this point. Doesn't matter, let's move on. So another important thing is to make sure your template has a problem to outcome fit, meaning that you need to research the type of sections and pages needed for your niche. And if you don't do that, you are probably gonna miss some crucial sections and pages that your target audience needs, and they are not going to buy your template. The next step is research and inspiration. As I said, the most common issue beginners face is getting rejected for design quality. And I've noticed the best designers that I work with in my coaching program, they tend to use a lot of inspiration, and people that struggle with design tend to underuse it, and they kind of try to build things off of their own head. And if you're a very experienced designer, that might be okay. But if you're a beginner, especially, using inspiration is crucial for improving your skills. That's something that I would highly recommend. You can go to websites like sitespo.com or saslandingpage.com and many more, and just look for inspiration for your colorway, for your typography, for the style of images that you're going to be using, and so on and so forth. And this is how you solve this problem with bad design. Basically, you need to use a lot of inspiration. You need to really be also very consistent with your design. Like if your spacing is inconsistent, for example, your padding somewhere is 24 pixels, but on other places it's 60, on other places it's 36. Inconsistency can really ruin your design, so make sure you're consistent with spacing, with padding. Make sure your typography is consistent, because I've seen this issue a lot. Like people will have one type of font for the first headline, they're going to have a different one for the second. Their paragraph will have 5 different styles, and it looks all over the place. A clean template uses consistency very good when it comes to typography, spacing, padding, and colors. So make sure your design also does that. And we already talked about why research and inspiration is so important, because it's very hard to come up with stuff out of your own head unless you're a genius or you've been doing design for 15 years. I'm still using a lot of inspiration to this day, and I've been doing web design for 6 years now. So yeah, it's very important. The next thing we're going to talk about is pricing, because pricing is also part of the idea process. And yeah, I'm going to show you how I come up with my pricing strategy. But basically, if your design is high quality, you need to avoid low prices, because low prices really undervalue your work. I've experimented with pricing a lot in my Framer template journey. I used to have templates as low as $29, $39, and as high as $79. But like beginning of this year, I raised all of my prices to $79, even for the cheaper templates. And I actually saw an increase in orders, even though I thought that would have a negative impact on the amount of orders I get, but they actually increased. So high quality prices signal higher quality template. Don't be afraid to price your template higher, but if your niche that you're designing for example, if there's not any very high price templates, you might consider lowering your price slightly just so you're competitive. But again, I would recommend always starting off with a higher price, because you can always lower the price down the line if you're not happy with the amount of sales you get, and you can always experiment. But yeah, that's my experience. Higher prices tend to signal higher quality, therefore people will think your template is better and more people are gonna pick it. So this is pretty much what my idea process includes. It's not very complicated. Really, the most important part is picking the niche and the problem outcome fit and the research and inspiration part, because without inspiration you won't have any direction to your design and it will look bad. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you want to see similar videos like this in the future, you can subscribe. If you're looking to fast track your journey into Framer templates, you can book a call for one-on-one coaching with me, where I will personally help you get at least 2 templates approved on the marketplace within 8 weeks, or you can join my free school group for free resources and valuable information.